chairwoman of the Native Land Conservancy and member of the Mashpee Wampanoags. We feel blessed on this beautiful night to be together with all of you on this hillside and for this purpose. Welcome to this land. You belong here.
Tonight, we're going to recite a poem by Joy Harjo, National Poet Laureate, first Native American woman to receive such an honor, tribal elder member of the Muskogee Nation. Her words, her music, her poetry have resonated for many decades. And tonight, it will continue with her Eagle poem.
To pray.
You open your whole self to sky,
To earth.
to sun,
To moon.
to
one whole voice that is you.
And know there is more.
That you can't see, can't hear.
Can't know except in moments,
Steadily growing.
And in language,
That aren't always sound, but other.
circles
of
of motion. Like eagle that Sunday morning over Salt River, circled in blue sky.
In wind swept our hearts clean with sacred wings.
We see you
See ourselves and know
that we must take the utmost care and kindness in all things. Breathe in.
knowing.
We are made of all this and breathe knowing.
We are truly blessed because
We were born
and die soon within
a true
circle of motion
like eagle rounding out the morning.
inside us,
We pray
that it will be done.
in beauty.
In beauty.
Katapatanamu, thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Good evening, folks. I want to say again to you, welcome to this land. You belong here. And who owns the land and who belongs to the land are powerful questions that as a farmer, a landowner, a father, I cannot avoid. The farm that we care for, the state that we love, this nation about which there's so many myths, is all indigenous land. Every road you traveled on to get here tonight began as an Abenaki foot trail. Every state park, every national park, every beautiful hillside farm was fully inhabited for thousands of years by other families before my culture arrived here. And I've come to understand that my own health and well-being and that of my family, and I think of yours, is dependent on reconciling that story, which I know we can. That beautiful spot right over there where those two kids are, where there's a fire going, is the site of Rufus Barrett's cabin in 1804. And I'm not proud of this, but I can tell you the names of every Western settler on this land, but I can't yet tell you the names of the Abenaki family that Rufus Barrett certainly displaced. That beautiful spot right there is also one of the first places of colonization in this valley. And I don't say that to shame myself or anyone else, but to call upon all of us in my culture to be better students of history and to take actions that make amends so that we can all have a better future. And tonight is about that better future. We're grateful, super grateful, that you bought tickets and made donations. And of course, the work of reconciliation is far more, right, than going to a concert or making a land acknowledgement. Reconciliation can only be about the returning of land and resources and the sharing of power. And that, of course, is lifelong work. And in my lifetime, that's what will happen here on this farm. And that's what Indigenous and non-Indigenous people are working on collectively to do all across the Northeast, and actually in many parts of our country. Because repairing and returning and sharing are the only steps forward that will help us all belong to this land.
Why is this happening now? And I want to say that this work is happening now as a part of the work of First Light, which is an effort to transform privileged spaces to return resources to Indigenous people. We foster a practice of asking, what do we have access to, and how can we support or share resources with Indigenous people and efforts? Our philosophy is relearning history, repairing relationships, and returning land and resources. And we've done that in Maine by working within the space of conservation culture with 65 organizations who collectively hold the keys to places of great importance to Wabanaki people. To date, our members have returned 1,500 acres of land and have granted access to 78,000 acres of land, and we're just beginning. We've organized this concert tonight as one part of our long work to share resources and to use our platform to support Indigenous leaders. And if you bought tickets tonight, you've already made a donation in support of 4 Indigenous-led organizations in the Northeast working to return land. And we want to thank you for joining in. This is just one way to pay it forward and to contribute to our collective healing. And I'm going to bring Peter up to introduce Lula Wiles.
So we have on stage with us, thank you, Ella, and give a Vermont welcome to Eleanor Buckland, Mali Obomsawin, Asa Burke, and Eli Cohen, who are Lula Wiles. In Pace Magazine's words, they are provocateurs of the best kind, rabble-rousers with the purest of intentions. Since this band's inception in 2014, they've toured internationally, winning fans at the Newport Folk Festival, the Philadelphia Folk Festival, garnering acclaim on NPR's Music, and 2 Boston Music Award nominations. Their songs speak to the issues of this moment and this night. Their song, Shaking as It Turns, is something of an anthem for First Light, with these words: "Is this land yours? Is this land mine? The fault lines crack and the fists they fly." Please welcome Lula Wiles.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Peter, for the introduction. We're happy to be here in front of this beautiful view, and we're sorry that we're blocking it for you.
Okay.
Here's a song about power.
Do you hear the shimmer of the sharpening blade? Do you feel the thunder from the barricade? A wave is building from below, and it's gonna break. Riot and ruination, I can't wait. I'll admit that you've done pretty well so far. Did you think that you would end up where you are? Do you think that you're a god now in your fancy cars? What have you been doing since the world shut down? Counting all the cards you stole to build your house. Your insidious extraction won't protect you now, because we're turning on the lights that you've been shooting out. Believe that you will always rule. You may think the world is all complacent fools, but hunger is an engine and anger's fuel, and everybody's hungry all because of you. And oh my God, how embarrassing for you. Oh my God, you really think you built that throne you look down from to sit on everyone? Yeah, your time is gonna run out soon. Yeah, your time is gonna run out soon. Yeah, your time is gonna run out, and you couldn't swing a hammer if they paid you to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We spent a lot of time over the break, the last 16 months, thinking about how Jeff Bezos was getting so much richer, and Issa wrote that song. It's off our new album, Shame and Sedition, which we recorded in June of 2020, so a few months into the pandemic.
And now here's a song written by our incredible bass player, Mali Obomsawin.
Thank you.
Tune the guitar.
This next song was inspired by my favorite author, James Baldwin. I was reading a lot of Baldwin in the last couple years, actually, even before the pandemic, but really settled in during. And what really speaks to me about his writing is his ability to express profane realities in a really beautiful way. If anyone's read his writing, you probably know what I mean. So this is sort of my dedication, homage to him, and a few quotes in particular that really stuck with me after reading his work.
Eli Cohen on the drums.
We're now going to do the third song on our new album. The album's called Shame and Sedition. I think Molly might have mentioned that earlier. And we're now we've done the first 3 tracks, but in the wrong order. But this one is actually the 3rd track, and it's the 3rd song we're doing, if anyone's keeping track. I'm trying to keep track.
These are the important takeaways from our shows. Only the real fans will know what order our songs come in. How's everybody feeling?
We are too. We're so glad to be here with you all.
Sometimes I go walking over by
Thank you so much.
Eleanor Buckland wrote that song. She's written a lot of devastating heartbreak jams, but that, in my personal opinion, is her most devastating one of all.
I was like, this is too sad of a song for it to have a chorus, so I just decided it wouldn't have a chorus.
It was our extreme pleasure to play that at a bluegrass festival yesterday. There are a few sort of themes on our new album that chase each other, eclipse each other throughout, and power and colonization are among them. They're not the only themes. Obviously, we have devastating heartbreak as well, thematically. But one could argue that some of the content of those sort of songs, self-reflective songs about womanhood and sort of the feelings of shame and interactions with masculinity also sort of can fit into those colonial and power dynamic themes. So what I'm trying to say is there is conceptual consistency throughout our album, and you should buy it. And this next song is no exception, although I did an interview recently where someone was like, so this next song is about the internet, right? And it's
Among
not.
other things.
Among other things. So it's called Connected. Everybody connected.
here playing the guitars, and she'll play the fiddle later as well. This is Issa Burke, everybody. Thank you.
This next song I wrote a few years ago after a hiking excursion early in the morning in a small town in Austria while we were on tour. And it didn't occur to me until just now, but I think this song is maybe fitting for tonight because this song is about a moment in my life where I had been really depressed for a long time and starting to feel like I was coming out of it. And can anyone relate after the year we've all had? But also, I think that a big part of what was special about that moment for me was experiencing a moment of connection with the natural world, which is obviously a big part of what we are here to do, and to ensure that the land that we all love is stewarded in the way that it should be by those who are most connected to it. The song isn't about that part, but Molly can tell you about that part.
But we're about that part.
Yeah.
As a band.
You were a ghost in the morning, mountain town, snow was falling, melted when it hit the ground. Are you doing better now? Seeing more with every step. Do you understand it yet? Are you ready for the things you want? When do you wake up? So long, kept still and quiet. Fight it, wondering what it is you need to break the surface of the sea. Are you ready for the things you want? When do you wake up? Are you ready for the things you want? Sun come up, earth still turning. Reach the top, breath was burning, expanding and invisible, holding the impossible. Are you ready for the things you want? When do you wake
Thank you.
This next song is one that we wrote together in the studio in last June, all four of us, and it started from a chorus that Ellie had written, and it turned into a four-way sort of think tank on the way that the media shapes our perceptions of our lives and of each other, and this was all especially relevant during, as we were recording this album over Juneteenth and surrounding the protests after George Floyd was murdered last May. So that's a lot of feelings contained in this song. It's called Television.
It's a sharp knife between greed and ambition. You start to question what you've been given. Everybody's buying when they're selling division, and it's all waiting for you on your television. On your television.
Thank you very much.
There are so many ways by which we are misinformed about the world we live in, and about each other and about communities that we're not from. And while television is one of them, I know through First Light Learning Journey, a lot of us are grappling with the miseducation we have all received through public schools, especially when it comes to First Nations and Indigenous peoples. And so I just want to take a moment to say thank you to the First Light Learning Journeys and for hosting this, and especially an immense thank you to all of the Indigenous people who have put in the energy to educate when given that platform. I know that it is not easy, and it often can take more energy than you get back from it. So I just want to honor all of those Indigenous people as well for using that opportunity, and yeah, even when it's not easy. Thank you.
Should all night long.
Thank you. So I guess there's a sort of consecutive duo of songs on the record of just like me being mad at people who have wronged me. So that was one of them, and here's the other one.
I feel like that's another theme of the album.
Yeah.
Whether it be an individual or a colonizer.
Yeah, it's about discarding the things that are no longer serving you, whether that's your stupid ex-boyfriend or colonialism and capitalism. Because those aren't really serving anyone except the Jeff Bezoses, and we already addressed that.
I'm sorry,
Go for it.
I
Go for
didn't
it.
really give Eli a mic, but he just said if we date Jeff Bezos, we just only have to write one song. So, thank you, Eli.
That's why, well, no, we did give him a vocal mic. Rethink this.
I'll say it again here.
Okay. Marianne, why don't you get your shit together? I'm not waiting for a better time or better weather to return your messages. You're holding on to vestiges of a long life, and we're not making plans, Marianne. Marianne, I bet your mama still believes that you're an angel. Should I call her up and tell her about the poison you were brewing on the playground back in school when we were young? You gotta get out while you can, Marianne. Marianne, so you heard I'm doing well, I won't deny it. And I'm sorry that you never made it out of our hometown. And you know I barely made it out alive. From the palm of your hand, Marianne. Marianne, I still hear your voice sometimes when I am lonely. And I remember you're still pulling all the strings inside my mind, telling me that I'll never find the love I need. Oh, but now I understand. I had to get out while I can, and we're not making plans, Marianne.
Well, we're going to play one more song and then take a break.
And I believe during that break you'll be hearing from the Land Trust representatives. So don't go anywhere. Or if you have to go somewhere, come back quickly. This next song was released at the end of 2019, before the Great Panini, and we didn't get a chance to tour it. And we want you to know that we have 7-inch vinyl records of this next song and another single that we put out with it. It's called "It's Cool," and you can find those at the merch table.
And also, Molly was saying that earlier her Connected song is not about the internet. I would argue that this song actually is about the internet. So if that's what you're thinking when you hear it, you're right.
Every time you call me, I wish you wouldn't call me. I wanna throw my phone out the window, so when you don't call me, I won't know. And I hate it when you text me, because I like it when you text me, but I don't even really like you, which makes it weird that I love you. But it's cool, and we're cool, and everything's cool. But it's cool, and we're cool, and everything's cool. Well, these days I don't even miss you. Well, except for the days that I miss you. But these days are happening less and less. At least that's what I tell my friends. And don't tell me that you need me, 'cause what the hell does that mean when it's 2:17 in the morning? Am I supposed to pretend I'm sleeping? But it's cool, and we're cool, and everything's cool. But it's cool, and we're cool, and everything's cool. Well, I've gotten so good at pretending that sometimes I forget I'm pretending until I see you at the party, and suddenly it gets hard to breathe. Don't act like this doesn't matter, 'cause I know it fucking matters. 'Cause I see the way that you look at me when you don't think I know you're looking at me. But it's cool, and we're cool, and everything's cool. But it's cool, and we're cool, and everything's cool. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Folks, there's a little gift giving going on here on the stage, which is the perfect opportunity for me to remind you that this is actually a benefit concert. And I want to report that you have raised $24,700 for all the efforts that you're about to hear about. But I think we can do better, okay? So there are QR codes on the signs there. It makes it really easy to make a gift. And when you hear from Ella and Ramona, I think you'll, and others, why that's so important.
Thanks, Peter. And so right now in the audience, we're really honored to have 4 Indigenous leaders of land return with us tonight. And we hope that you all will come up and share a bit about your work and be able to promote it. The first person that I want to introduce is Ramona Peters, who I've had the honor of getting to know the past few days. Ramona is Mashpee Wampanoag and the daughter of Slow Turtle, John Peters. She is a lifelong activist, artist, and she's founder of the Native Land Conservancy. And Ramona, I invite you to come share.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I want to get a little wave to say hello, if you would say hello back so I can, even my ancestors can feel you. Well, we come from Cape Cod. My tribe is small. We're first contact people. The Mayflower landed in our territory, about 12 miles from my village, where we still live. We've been on Cape Cod for about, well, it's been proven we've been there for about 12,000 years. When I was growing up, I heard the older people always talking about the land, and not so much the land that we had, but the land that was lost to us. And some of those spaces were very sacred and special to us, and it's sort of like missing a relative, an important relative that had so much teaching in it and so much history in it. The things that happened on those land spaces. So many of those places we can't go anymore because someone else is owning it or holding it. So now the Native Land Conservancy is not only asking for land to return so that our people can practice our cultural lifeways, but also simple access to special areas so we can give greetings and thanks to those energies and elements and things that are there, that our people always used to give offerings to. We would like access, and some of the towns and conservation groups are opening that possibility to us. So where it's a very formal, we're calling it a cultural respect agreement or cultural respect easement. And for people, private landowners and towns or conservation groups who feel that they can respect our culture enough to allow us to enter safely. Well, they're doing it little by little. So we've been up north here and over in Maine with the Wabanaki Confederacy, talking with them about the same process. And some friends in the conservation world are opening spaces for Native people, Indigenous people to do just what I'm talking about. Yes, this land still loves us, and we just want to love it back, more directly. Yeah. So, there's a lot we could talk about with what the Native Land Conservancy does, but I just want to say, just invite you to look at our website. I guess would be the easiest thing to do, nativelandconservancy.org, right? And drop us an email. We really enjoy your company in this very, very special place. And talk about the land loving back. This is, I don't know. I'm almost speechless about what to say. I don't know an English word to say about that one. But Peter, thank you so much. Helen, Ren.
Thank you so much, Ramona. Next up is Stephanie. Stephanie's of the Oneida Nation. They're an herbalist, an earth worker, and coordinator of the Northeast Farmers of Color Land Trust. Welcome, Stephanie.
Yeah, actually I'm Mohawk Ganigehaga. My grandfather was Oneida, but Sego Sewagoigo, everybody. My name is Stephanie Morningstar. I'm Mohawk Turtle Clan from Treaty 3 Dish with One Spoon territory, and standing next to me is my beloved colleague Kenya Lazuli, who lives here in Vermont. So much gratitude to Peter, Helen, the whole Knoll family. Gratitude so much to Lula Wiles. It was so fun and beautiful to watch you, and I'm excited for the second half. Gratitude to the ancestors and to the land. Gratitude to all of you for coming here and supporting this work and listening to the land and your ancestors. And deep bow to our dear elder and inspiration, Ramona Peters, as well as our siblings at the Bomazeen Land Trust, Native Land Conservancy, and the Wabanaki Commission on Land Stewardship. The Northeast Farmers of Color Land Trust is a concentric land liberation alliance whose vision is to advance land sovereignty in the Northeast region with and for Indigenous, Black, Latinx, Asian, and other land stewards, earthworkers, and farmers of color who are dedicated to tending the land in a sacred manner that honors our ancestors' dreams and instructions for responsible and reciprocal farming, sustainable and beautiful human habitat, continuation, reintegration, and reclamation of ceremony, and restoration of native species ecosystems and cultural celebration. We are on the cusp of a tipping point. 98% of farmland is owned by white folks, nearly 100% in the Northeast. As my mentor and dear friend Leah Penniman says, this is not an accident of history. We are on the cusp of a tipping point. The Earth's biodiversity could reach this tipping point by 2045. The collapse of our ecosystems are looming. We are on the cusp of a tipping point. People of color are 2 times more likely to die from a chronic health condition, often due to ethno-stress, including stressors such as food apartheid. There are 3 rich white billionaires who would rather leave the planet than redistribute their wealth to fix this. We are at a tipping point. We've survived 2.5 years of land liberation, speaking truth to power, and amending the soil of the systems that control the health and well-being of those who have been pushed to the settler colonial margins, those who have extracted from and cut off from our languages, cultures, and land. Here at the Northeast Farmers of Color, we're here to say that we walk in the path of gratitude and stand on the shoulders of our collective ancestors who passed on their ways of being, doing, and knowing to us, who passed on their resilience and fierceness, tenderness of connection, and ability to listen deeply to creation. We're here to reclaim our place on and with the land, who never left us, who is our most sacred and precious relative. We do not see land as a resource, but instead a teacher, a nurturer, and provider. Kin we are not only a part of, but accountable to. One of the keystones of this work is not just the acknowledgement, but the actionable recognition that these lands were not terra nullius, but Turtle Island, and that the multiplicity of indigenous nations and languages and cosmologies that have been here and continue to be here since time immemorial. Because of this, we are dedicated to building deep partnerships with the sovereign indigenous nations of these territories. We have pledged not just to do this by consultation, but to advocate for the return and the rematriation of land relationships. We are not doing this in a vacuum. We are doing this together. We're building bridges and braiding bliss, Black liberation and indigenous sovereignty and solidarity. We're so grateful to be bridge builders, community regenerators, and here too, as it was so aptly and so beautifully put by these bardic truth tellers, we're here to turn on the lights that have been shot out. We're not just riding a wave of change, we're shaping change. I'll leave this with you before introducing you briefly to Kenya to talk about what she's doing here in Vermont, our most recent Farmly member. This poem by one of our beloved truth tellers, Octavia Butler. Here we are, energy, mass, life shaping life, mind shaping mind, God shaping God. Consider, we are born not with purpose, but with potential. All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. It is my deep pleasure to introduce you to Kenny Lazuli to share with you a little bit about the Vermont Everytown Project. Nyawagoa.
Tough act to follow. Hi everyone, I'm Kenya Lazuli. I grew up in so-called Vermont and left for 25 years because I thought it was boring. And then when I got pregnant 7 years ago or 8 years ago, I thought, oh, I have to have my baby at home. And we thought we wouldn't stay, and here we are 7 years later. So my partner and I, we're both artists, so in order to survive in Vermont, we started an arts residency to invite other people to come and share this beautiful place with us. And what we noticed is that the people that could afford to come and share this beautiful space with us were white people who could leave their jobs and had funding and support coming from other places. So last year, a lot of things changed for a lot of people, and for us, that looked like no more hosting artists in our home. And then things kept changing and becoming more intense. And I started just being really aware of my privilege and really aware of where I get to live during a pandemic, and that I get to go outside when I'm tired of being inside. And I just sort of, was on a walk with a friend, and I was saying, wouldn't it be cool if there was like a space in every town in this state that was reserved and kept safe and like held for BIPOC? And she said, yeah, that would be cool. So I started writing emails and getting people on the phone that I didn't know, and I didn't really know what I was doing exactly, and I still am feeling it out. But one of the people I got in touch with was Stephanie Morningstar, and that was about a year ago. And since that time, I've started officially the Everytown Project. So the Everytown Project, like I just said, is a project with the primary goal of placing at least one quality piece of land from every town in this state in permanent trust for stewardship and access by Indigenous, Black, and people of color. 3 pieces of land have already started the donation process. We're connecting with land stewards all over the state through the Vermont Relief Collective. And about a month ago, I got hired by New Folk officially, so I'm no longer volunteering at this job. And been, I'm an artist, like I said, so this is my first real job. I'm 42. So my mom is so happy that I have health insurance. I am too. But I guess like the most like just sort of amazing part of this past year was just being welcomed by the New Folk family and their gratitude for the work that I was called to do. And their naming of me being called to do this work, because I was like, I don't know where the idea came from, and Stephanie reminds me that, yes, I do. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for providing this beautiful space and inviting us here to share it with you, and thank you to the musicians for sharing your art with us, and thank you to the land. Yeah, and thank you, Peter. This is lovely. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Kenya, and thank you, Stephanie. That was beautiful. And lastly, but not least, I want to introduce two leaders from the Bomazeen Land Trust. Lakota Sanborn is a Penobscot Indigenous artist, community organizer, and board member of Bomazeen. And Mali Obomsawin, who you've been hearing from throughout the night, is Abenaki First Nation citizen. She's a writer, an activist, and a musician, as you all have seen. And she's also a leader of Bomazeen, so I'll welcome you guys up.
Thank you so much. I did not know that I would be talking like this about, neither of us did, so we don't have a speech. That was beautiful, though, Stephanie and Kenya. Thank you for making it hard to follow you and how organized and eloquent you are. I don't typically mix my music, with the Indigenous advocacy work that I do, and it kind of scrambles my brain sometimes to do that. But I'm really so honored that this is a place where that is possible, and where the part of Lula Wiles that is dedicated to justice can have this platform to speak to a community of people who are also dedicated to justice in a very intentional way. And that is also the work of Bomazeen Land Trust. So Bomazeen Land Trust was officially founded last year, but was really a long time coming. And maybe I'll tell the history a little bit about why we formed the Land Trust. For years, my dad and my family have done a sacred ceremony at Mount Katahdin in Maine with the other Wabanaki nations, some of the other Wabanaki nations, Penobscot, Passamaquoddy, Maliseet, Mi'kmaq, and like Ella said, we're Abenaki from Odanak. And at the mountain, my family and other families, other Wabanaki families who do that ceremony would always talk about Nurajwak, this area in central Maine, western Maine, on the Kennebec River. Nurajwak was a historic community, a really important one within the context of Wabanaki homelands, because the Kennebec River is a huge watershed, and it connects to several very important rivers that we would travel in order to meet with our relatives down to Wampanoag, down to Shinnecock, up to New Brunswick, so-called. So really a crucial waterway. In our family, Obomsawin traces back to Chief Bomazeen, who was a part of that community at Nurajwak, and he was killed there in 1724 at a massacre. It's called the Nurajwak Massacre, and that's when my family went to Odanak, which is in Quebec, if people don't know. It was started as a refugee community for Wabanaki people fleeing colonial warfare. So at the mountain, at Mount Katahdin, my family and other families who have similar stories that actually trace back to Nurajwak started having those conversations and finding each other in a really serendipitous but not consequential, what's the word? Coincidental, scrambled brain, sorry, not coincidental way. And so the families continued to gather every year for several years, and we decided that it was time to do something to try to rematriate Norwich Walk, to try to start restore a presence there and protect the lands where our ancestors come from. For so long, all of these families have been in diaspora since that massacre and several others around the same time, and we would like to come home. We would like to come home from Quebec. We'd like to come home from Passamaquoddy, from Penobscot, from Mi'kma'ki, you know, and Bomazeen Land Trust was formed by descendants of those families who are in diaspora and who trace back to there, and we're dedicated to that, to restoring that presence. So, so that's what Bomazeen Land Trust is up to. Thank you. Great. I'm going to introduce the person whose name you already know, because she already said it, Lakota Sanborn.
Gwegwe, Bakwanagwaziak. It's so great to see you all here today, and I want to extend my deepest gratitudes to Peter Forbes for allowing this to take place, and for all of you, who contributed to this fundraising venture. But I want to especially give my thanks to Ramona and to Stephanie and Kenya, and I feel it's really hard to follow up what you all said. It's very, very well put and very beautiful, and I feel like it rendered some of my words that I had thought up a little redundant. I don't want to speak for too long, but I just want to say that land back to Indigenous folks is really, it's more than just correcting past wrongs. It's really about looking forward into the future and what we're envisioning this world to be. When Ramona talked about us being in relation with the land and these really being relatives, and Molly touching on the diaspora that many of us have been forced to be a part of, it's really important that we have the ability to reconnect with our ancestors and with our relatives of the land and fulfill the sacred instructions that were passed down to us from Creator and by our ancestors to be protectors of these lands. It's not something I really need to go too much in depth on, but we all know that climate change is something that is not really a looming threat for us, at least for Indigenous peoples. Climate change is something that hasn't been looming on the horizon. It's something that has already arrived on our shores, and we are doing our best and using our best due diligence to reverse those tides to ensure that there is a future worth living for our relatives and our descendants in the future. And so when we started this project, it really has to do with reconnecting with the land in that way, and to become familiarized with the people who we've been severed from the land itself. And I just feel really grateful to be where I am and to be doing the work that I'm doing and helping to ensure that the future doesn't look so bleak with climate change, and that we're able to work together. So again, I want to say thank you. Kajiwaliwini. Yeah. Daho.
Just want to quickly say there have been 114 donations. We're over $25,000 raised. The evening goes on. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Lula, Wiles. Thank you, Ramona and Stephanie and Kenya, Mali and Lakota.
Stars look
2 cars.
Ellie mentioned on the way up that if we wanted to go to the
Oh, nice.
just because otherwise I don't get to see you.
That's a good point. I could definitely get into that, especially because I anticipate I'm going to be really tired.
On the moving forward, the faces on the map, each winter coat and baby in the cold.
I was about to say
The woman on the cell phone, she pushes back and on, yeah, she said to someone, he's just getting old. The father with the family, he reaches for his daughter, that brings her to his shoulder, what's he say? The boy is walking backwards, suspended for a moment, and then the motion carries him away. Wednesday morning, that 6 a.m. Wednesday morning, Denver, 6 a.m. The family by the window speaks an unknown language, and they're waiting for the relatives to land. The young man in the red hat dozing by the phone with a magazine slipping from his hands. Wednesday morning, Denver.
Hello.
Wednesday morning, Denver,
I'm going to do that at some point. Just so you know, you might want to write it a little bit down.
I'm not going to use this at all.
I'm cool to start with. People will come back to this song. We could switch them if you want to do that.
We were thinking we switch them so that Hometown gathers everyone in, and then the hit, Shaking, we don't have this. Oh, that's a good point too.
Do you want to say something? We're just going to get started back up, and people just will let people mosey back on their leisure.
Your hometown's shining like a magazine ad, prom queen crown and a
time. She taught you all about making ends meet, and nothing turns out like a nursery rhyme. Flip a coin and call it pride or shame, red and white and the working blues, welfare, warfare, laying the blame. No matter who wins, well, someone's gonna lose. It's a heavy world on a rusted chain, pulling hard to make the pendulum swing, but it doesn't swing back and it never will if we're putting our trust in a broke down dream. Thank you so much. I wrote that song a while ago now, and it's on our second album, What Will We Do? Yeah, we're so glad to be back up here playing some more music. We're really, really honored to be a part of this special night, and so we're really glad to be sharing in that with you all here.
Yeah, and I have heard that we have some fans of this next song in the audience, and I am not remotely equipped to say anything more eloquent than all of the speakers from the break. So I will just send this song out to all of you who are working for land justice, and thank you.
Is this land yours? Is this land mine? The fault lines crack and the fists they fly. In the heat of the night, I touch the falling sky. It's a story as old as the flag in the yard. The money's too tight and the work's too hard. Baby, do you know just who your enemies are? And the world it sings and the world it burns. I feel the world shaking as it turns. I feel the world shaking as it turns. With eyes shut tight and the blood washed clean, the Capitol shines, but it's a poison gleam. See the monuments fall to God's great machine. And the world it sings and the world it burns. I feel the world shaking as it turns. I feel the world shaking as it turns. Judgment comes like a lightning strike. The levees break and the oceans rise. And that little black train, it could be here tonight. So Don't talk about love if your love won't burn, if your love won't fight, if your love won't yearn. 'Cause a love don't win if it waits on some return. And the world it sings, and the world it burns. I feel the world shaking as it turns. I feel the world shaking as it turns. And the world it sings, and the world it burns. I feel the world shaking as it turns. I feel, and the world it sings, and the world it burns. I feel the world shaking as it turns. I feel the world shaking as it turns.
We have often joked that our last album, What Will We Do, has two themes, Sad About America and Sad About a Boy. And we will be toggling between the two for this whole set. It's really so funny to be doing this as the Bomazeen Land Trust director and also as a member in Lula Wiles, because in this band I am crass and, you know, just a young woman musician, and I'm sorry that I said the F word in front of all of these very respectable people, and I, you know, but I'm really, you know, we contain multitudes, and thank you for being here for both, you know, the feelings stuff and the anti-colonial stuff and all of it. Here's a song about Ellie's feelings.
Last time that I saw you, it didn't look like you'd been sleeping, watching the boats out on the Danube, you and I breathing. There's nothing you owe me, and maybe that's what I should have told you. Next time that I see you, baby, what are we gonna hold on to? I know you've been taking it rough,
Can't you hear the bells ringing down in the square? How long has it been since you walked down there? There's one chime for lonely love, another for the one you've been missing. But those bells keep tolling, even if nobody's listening.
We'll do a song I wrote, sort of my contribution to the country music canon.
Good old American values, taming the tigers and baboons, so they work for us now by the sweet sweat on their brow. That's some good old American values. Good old American cartoons. Indians and cowboys and Salem. It's all history by now, and we hold the pen anyhow. Drawing good old American cartoons. Trusty American tycoons, kicking their feet up in Cancun. They're making us proud, making friends the whole world round. Trusty American tycoons. Good old American values. Conquest, she looks best in costume, but by the end of the day, there's a fortune to be made on those good old American values. There's a fortune to be made.
do a song that was written by Dolly Parton and Porter Wagoner, some country heroes of ours. At least Dolly. I don't really know that much about Porter Wagoner. He's fine.
He's fine.
Probably mediocre.
But Dolly, she's great.
Dolly.
She was the real star
Yeah.
of that duo.
Certainly. So this is a song we learned for a Halloween show we did eons ago, and we dressed up as Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, and Linda Ronstadt, and played their entire trio album. An excellent piece of art. If you haven't indulged, I would recommend it.
And this is a good one to dance to if anyone is feeling super inclined.
That's okay.
I have to make Dolly proud. I have to have the guitar in tune.
Still pretty high. Pretty hot. Thank you for bearing with us. All of our gear has been sort of shuffled into our cars from a festival yesterday, and all unceremoniously. So,
I think
And
I got
before
it.
that, it was in a closet for a really long time. So at least it's not as dusty as it was yesterday.
Oh, the pain of loving you. Oh, the misery I go through. Never knowing what to do. Oh, the pain of loving you. You just can't stand to see me happy. Seem to hurt me all you can. Still I go on loving you, but I never understand. Oh, the pain of loving you. Oh, the misery I go through. Never knowing what to do. Oh, the pain of loving you. To love and hate at the same time. The line between the two is fine. The two have bound me heart and soul, so strong that I can't let you go. Oh, the pain of loving you. All the misery I go through. Never knowing what to do. Oh, the pain of loving you. Never knowing what to do. Oh, the pain of loving you.
We're going to We've got a few more songs for you. Thank you for sticking around as it gets dark. And earlier we could just see all your beautiful faces the whole time, and now we have these really amazing lights on us, so it's hard to see you all, but I can still like feel you're vibing out there. So thank you for being here. And this one takes some shuffling. We played "It's Cool," if you remember, from about an hour ago, and we have these 7-inch vinyl that Molly was telling you about, and they're maybe a little obsolete, but maybe there are a couple of you out there who just like want a really, cool, hip 7-inch vinyl, and this is the B-side to that single that we'll play for you now. We co-wrote it, and it's fitting that it comes after Pain of Loving You, I think, because this was our attempt at kind of a snarky classic country song. So this one is called "You Only Want Me When You Need Me."
It's going to feature Mali Obomsawin on the electric guitar.
You only want me when you need me, when you're passing through my town, when you're feeling sick and lonesome, when your cigarette's burned out. You only want me when you need me. Baby, we both know it's true. And even though you know I care, you're never there on those nights when I need you. You were on your 5th Corona. The girls were lining up for you to spin them slow. The band was drinking and singing about drinking, all dressed up like an 80s rodeo. You haven't given me a second glance, shooting pool with your next dance. You're the man of the hour for now. I'll see myself out. You only want me when you need me, when you're passing through my town, when you're feeling sick and lonesome, when your cigarette's burned out. You only want me when you need me. Baby, we both know it's true. And even though you know I care, you're never there on those nights when I need you. Now I'm walking after midnight, and all you've picked up is the tab, it would seem. 'Cause when I get home to leftover takeout, It isn't long before you're lighting up my screen. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. You come just as advertised. And after all this touch and go, you wanna have one for the road. You only want me when you need me, when you're passing through my town, when you're feeling sick and lonesome, when your cigarettes burned out. You only want me when you need me. Baby, we both know it's true. And even though you know I care, you weren't there on those nights I wanted you. And even though you think it's cool, you were a tool that I never needed.
Mali Obomsawin on the electric guitar solo.
We've just got a couple more songs, and I'm going to be in the middle. Am I? I'm going to be in the middle for them. And this is one that I always dedicate to my dad, because he's mentioned in it by name, Dad. He is, he's important to me. But it's a song that I'll also dedicate to anyone who has lived in this world and felt like it was set up to make you question yourself and question your belonging and feel like what you're seeing and what you're hearing are two different things. It's called Conspiracy Theory.
Or is this one of those mirrors made broke free from the frame. Now you can watch the chemtrails flying over your head, and there's no pain. No more mourning the days that came and went by, left you empty as a hotel bed.
Thank you.
Well, we've come to the end of our set, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, we want to thank everyone with First Light for having us and for organizing this, and Knoll Farm, obviously, and everyone here who is, everyone here for being here, for spreading the word, for donating if you did tonight, and to all of the Indigenous and other leaders who spoke tonight about their work. And we feel really honored to be a part of this night, and so thank you all.
We have merchandise available that you can purchase. If you've already donated, you should do that first. But we do also have recorded music and other related items available. And we'll leave you with a song that's on our new record that we wrote together. One more time, that's Eli Cohen on the drums, Eleanor Buckland on the guitar and fiddle and vocals, Mali Obomsawin on the bass and guitar and vocals. And my name's Issa Burke. And this is a song about allyship, something that we are all striving for all the time. And it is really, it's such a gift to get to be here. And I'm thinking a lot about, how I can continue to try to be worthy of the gift that it is to be part of an event like this. So thanks to all of you.
I want to, it almost felt like we were about to start a song. Gotcha. I want to thank everyone here as well. I second all that has been said, and I want to send out a special Kajiwalioni to my ancestors who are interred in these lands, and all of the Wabanaki people from Mashpee up to New Brunswick, Mi'kmaq. Thank you, Waliwani.
If I could
for silence in a sickness. Greed is a cruel companion. It's the violence we are handed. So much to be returned, stolen, not earned. So much to be unlearned. Between now and then, in a world that deepens on people like me and my friends, do you really want the world to end? Do you really want the world to end? Do you
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Please come talk to me and us, but me especially.